How you doing, folks? So we're in step 6. We're in the month of June, and I wanted to read a little piece from this book. If you don't have it, it's a great book that actually was created by some of the original founders of AA and their wives. So step 6 is about a willingness to learn from God. Really, that's what it's all about. I know some of you all call it your higher power, but and that's fine. We're essentially learning from life itself. And I wanted to share this quote that is from the book that I just showed you. It says, "Our shortcomings are not magically and irrevocably banished from us. They are separated a distance away or removed, quote unquote. God shows us how to set them aside. We can choose to take them back, but now we have choices. We can choose different thoughts, words, and actions." And I think that is something that we need to remember. Thomas More, I'm reading this great book by Thomas More called Care of the Soul. And he calls that our shadow, right? I was telling my brother not that long ago that the way I look at our darkness, that side of us that seeks to do wrong for whatever various reasons. Sometimes we just don't know better. Sometimes we just want to try something out. That we can never really close the door on that once we've opened it, right? It'll always stay like a little cracked open. And Thomas More, I think, eloquently describes it as our shadow, right? That part of us that will always be with us. It will never really leave us. And it's there and it exists. And it's in recovery, though, that we start to come to terms with it. That's one of the things I was sharing with my brother, that even though the darkness never goes away, what we come to is an acceptance that it's there. And we don't necessarily try to fight it. We just know when the feelings arise that'll bring us deeper into our darkness. How do you get out of it? I think it's different for everybody. Sometimes we have mentors. Sometimes there's a life event that triggers this really strong sense to change inside of us. Other of us, we get tired of it. Maybe someone died. There's so many different reasons why we start to move away from our darkness and start to embrace our light. And I want you to know it's not easy. Just as recently, I was told about a family member of mine that he's still struggling with his addiction. And he's in a dark path. And he reached out to me, wanting to spend the night. And unfortunately, I didn't get that message until the next morning. But I let him know he could come by that night. And then I found out later that really he's just trying to find a place to go use. So I started thinking about, what would I have to say to him? How do I check in with him to make sure that, he's cool to come spend the night, but don't come over and start using. I'm not going to be able to, I can't support that. I won't accept that. And then I never heard from him, but I sent him this message this morning and reminded him how deeply loved he is. I wanted him to not forget that he's loved and that when he's ready, I am here. I'm here for him to talk, and whenever that is. And I told him I'm lifting him up in prayer and holding him in good thoughts, that, he'll discover the true beauty within him. And that is one of the messages I wanted to give to you today. And you probably hear it a lot from me, is that there's something more beautiful inside each and every one of us than what we sometimes are able to see. And those of us who have been clean and sober for quite some time, we know that now. And that's why we continue to try to speak to other people and let them know that they can find the same thing, because we were down that dark path. We lost sight of ourselves, and we did things that we're not proud of, that we don't like to talk about, but need to be talked about. So again, back to step 6, it's about a willingness. Right now, my family member, he's not ready. He's not willing to change yet. He's not willing to embrace a new path he's continuing down his dark path, and I hope he gets out of it, and hope he finds a way to find freedom and peace and love inside his heart. So anyway, that's what I have for today, and more to come. Check out the links, and yeah, let me know if you got any questions.